What's up, guys? It's Dynasty from the Mountaintops. Back again, week 3. I am Mickey, along with Jeremy. How you doing tonight, my man?
Doing fantastic. Another week of football down. Another week of football to look forward to.
Absolutely. Now, to go behind the curtain real quick before we start up, I do want to let people know we had to record a little bit early tonight, so everything that we talk about doesn't have anything to do with Monday Night Football because we are recording before Monday Night Football. So if there's someone that goes off that we should have talked about, sorry. Because we typically record on Tuesday, we just had to change it up this week. So, just giving you a caveat to that. Also, any numbers we talk about ranking wise, that has something to do with it as well. So Lamar's not in this, so obviously people are going to move up a little bit, at least one spot. Uh, Using Lamar makes sense, right?
Especially tonight. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to get started here. We're going to talk about the week 3 injuries, takeaways, and standouts. Also, flex options for week 4. And I'm going to give Jeremy kudos just so he knows in the future of how good his picks were this past week. And then we'll talk about a little bit about trade database. Basically, we're going to look and see who the top trade candidates are right now and what they're going for, and if we agree, disagree, things like that. So, should be a fun show. We love talking trades. So we're going to get started here with the week that was, week 3. Great week. However, there are a bunch of injuries, and I'm going to run through them real quick, and then Jeremy, anything that pops out to you, let's talk about, okay?
Fire away.
So James Conner out for the season with an ankle injury. Coulson Loveland has a hip injury, not serious, so he should be fine. CeeDee Lamb, ankle injury, originally thought to be fine. He said he could have went in, however, just found out it could be up to 3 to 4 weeks, or he could even be put on IR now, as Jerry Jones says. Breaking news there, which thank you, Adam Schefter. Alec Pierce had a concussion. Usually, if you have a concussion, you don't play the next week, so expect him out. Diami Brown has a shoulder injury. Don't know much about that yet. Najee Harris, Achilles injury, carted off. I'm assuming he's out for the year, but I haven't heard anything quite yet. Tyrone Tracy had a shoulder injury. Mike Evans, hamstring. There's no details on that yet from what I saw. Terry McLaurin had a quad, and Baker Mayfield's hand. They didn't really. It wasn't on the injury report at the end of the game. However, some people that I heard today on podcasts were talking about it, so I just wanted to bring it up because he was shaking it like after every other throw. It felt like if you watched the game. So, anything that stands out to you? I know there's one for me, but I'm gonna let you go first.
No, I mean, there's some big names here. Just a brief update for you. Najee Harris was confirmed a torn Achilles. So that is the end of Najee Harris's season. That is confirmed. So he's done. So that's a big loss. But no, like um the two that bring the two that bring up the most are the Najee Harris, the Achilles, because then you worry about recovery and you worry about the way that they are. It's always running backs and their Achilles. They're never the same. So I'm curious to see what happens there. And James Conner, just it sickened me, but it just felt like there was slow taps being played when he was being carted off. I don't want to call the end of the man's career. I'm in no position to do that, but it's serious as an injury as they're projecting it today. I don't know, man. I'm a little concerned about the longevity and future of James Conner.
I will say this about James Conner. He is a fighter. He has come back from cancer. He can come back from this, I'm sure. However, he does have a young gun in Trey Benson, who a lot of people were expecting to take over throughout the year anyway. Now it just gets ramped up a little bit. So I don't think he's done, but it might not be the same James Conner we're used to, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
which
fair
is
enough.
unfortunate. Obviously, we have to wait till next year to find out, though. But the big one for me affects me deeply because he's in half of my leagues. CeeDee Lamb, ankle injury. Originally, I was very optimistic. Me and Jeremy were actually talking before the pod that it seemed like he was going to be okay to come back into the game. I guess after conversation today, they didn't put him on IR, but he was going to probably be out 3 to 4 weeks. Could return sooner. Now Jerry Jones, in his wording, says they might be putting him on IR. We'll see. But that is probably, I mean, he's one of the top, 5 players outside of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, or in the last few years. So that's a big one. You'll definitely have to figure out something for the next 3 to 4 weeks to get those points that he was getting for you. Luckily, he wasn't doing a whole lot the first 2 weeks, so you don't have to find too many points if you were succeeding with him. But those boom days, it might come few and far between in the next 4 weeks for you. So that was the biggest one that I saw. Najee Harris is a shame. James Conner is a shame. But and obviously, if Baker Mayfield's hand is more serious than he let on playing, that's going to be a massive ordeal. We'll find out about that throughout the next few days, I'm sure. And then Terry McLaurin, I didn't hear much about the quad. That was the other big name, him and Mike Evans. I didn't get any details on that, so I apologize. Hopefully they're going to be okay because they are 2 wide receiver 2 minimum starters usually in your lineup. So hopefully you won't have to turn to that. But if you do, we have some great flex options later in the show. We'll do that. So anyone else that you really wanted to talk about, or you want to move on to takeaways?
Let's run into our takeaways here. Let's jump into more positive news and some highlights of week 3.
Well, speaking of positive news,
yeah, a very gloom and depressed sports city of the Chicago metro area. You know, they hit off to a right start the other day. But week 3 they beat Dallas Cowboys 31-14. In my personal opinion, take it as you wish. I think it was by far Caleb Williams' best game as a NFL player, not just this season. I think overall, I think it was his best performance. He went 19 for 28, 298, and he had 4 touchdowns. He had a semi-decent bomb to Odunze, and he had a very decent bomb of 65 yards to Bird, and both of them successful for touchdowns. I just think it's seeing the way that the Chicago Bears gelled offensively. Mind you, they played the Dallas Cowboys, but seeing the way they gelled offensively, so it's starting to show exactly why they hired Ben Johnson to do what they did. And I'm hoping, for the sake of the Bears, and I'm hoping for the sake of just being an NFL fan, that this is the start of some wonderful things to come with the offense of Ben Johnson. We're starting to see they're kind of like the Bears of, they're kind of like the Lions of Chicago here. You're starting to see exactly what pieces are going into play. You have Odunze definitely filling in the Amon-Ra St. Brown role. You see him starting to carve out the DeAndre Swift's role as the Jahmyr Gibbs. Anungai's now getting involved in the roles a lot more. So, I mean, it's you're starting to see this offense starting to click. And it's what everybody hoped for in a fantasy aspect, and I'm sure it's what every Bears fan hoped for when Ben Johnson came aboard, and I hope it's a sign of things to come.
Yeah, so I'm happy for Chicago. I'm glad Ben Johnson was able to get his first win as a head coach, all that good stuff. I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams, as you know. And he had Swift before as his Gibbs, and it was a train wreck. My first thing actually goes into this. Play everyone you can against the Dallas defense. Everybody.
Good segue.
The backup running back is going to get more points for you if they play the Dallas defense because they're going to be up so many. Their defense is an absolute joke, and I can absolutely say that for certain because now Mike is not on there, so they have nobody. And Diggs can't do it all on his own as a cornerback either. I know they lost Bland for a couple weeks. I don't know if he played yesterday or not. But I think this was, looking at the first 3 weeks of the Bears, Odunze's a stud. And we kind of knew that last year during the rookie draft. People decided to forget about it because DJ Moore was still the number 1. But Rome is a dude. Has been for a long time.
Rome Odunze.
I like it. Didn't even mean to do that. Love it. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. I I'm still worried. DJ Moore has not gotten anything this year yet, which worries me about him, especially against the Dallas defense. Luther Burden's getting more than DJ Moore is, so we'll see what happens there. I don't believe in Swift. Guy's okay, but again, I don't believe. I'm worried about their run game. Their defense isn't that good. I think CeeDee Lamb being out, they could focus on Pickens, and they really have nobody else except for Ferguson, who's not going to go down the field too often on offense for the Dallas Cowboys. So I just want to pump the brakes a little bit. Fantasy-wise, phenomenal. Play everybody you possibly can against the Dallas defense. It is a train wreck. As far as the Bears go, I just worry that it was an aberration because of how bad the Cowboys defense really is. So that's all my caveat was. I know we're at different sides on this, but I have seen Caleb play well last year as well in a couple games, but it was usually against a really bad defense. He doesn't play well against mediocre or good defenses. So once he does that, then I'll change my tune. But outside of the Doomsday, I'm kind of staying away from this team still. And then second one, we'll go back to you on this one.
Yeah, it kind of plays into, we're kind of segueing one off another. Last night's, mind you, Monday. Last night's football game between the Giants and the Chiefs. We Want Dart is starting to trend online on all Giants social media, but most importantly, when the voices of the 80,000 at 10 MetLife Stadium. I knew this was going to come at some point this year. I didn't anticipate it to come this early into the season. It started with about less than a minute left in the first half. It was right when Russell Wilson threw his second interception, which obviously, isn't a good segue for that aspect, but nevertheless, so the We Want Dart chant started all throughout the night in that second quarter, and then the coach Dabble decided to play with it, and they brought in Dart for 3 total plays. He had a rush where it was brought on by mass amounts of cheers, and then when Russell Wilson returned, it was mass amounts of boos. So I'm interested to see exactly how they handle it this week. This is the first time it's really gotten a lot of momentum. Russ quieted everybody last week, playing, ironically, the Dallas Cowboys by putting up almost 450 yards. But the honeymoon phase is quickly over already, and the We Want Dart chants have been becoming louder and louder and louder. And I'm anticipating that we might start seeing more of Dart sooner than what the Giants organization wanted to do.
I heard that they played him last week a little bit as well. I didn't see it because obviously they played at the same time as my beloved Steelers, so I didn't get to watch the game too much. However, I don't know what Dayball thinks he's doing to help Russ. This is hurting Russ more than anything. Putting Dart out there is great because for fantasy because we know it's coming. But at the same point, you are ruining Russell Wilson. Even if he had a shot at being good this year, it's over. The fan base has seen a little bit and is super excited to see more. During preseason, he looked good. Every time he comes in, there's a little bit of energy. He ran a nice, 5-6 yard sneak there. I think you're going to see it more and more. I don't know. They must not be comfortable with his arm. Is the only reason that I can think that I haven't seen him throw the ball yet. I don't know if you did or not, or if how bad.
Yeah, I believe it's. I believe. Yeah, I've seen him throw the ball. It's nice, and I've seen his run the legs. I mean, he seems like he's ready to go. I personally have some stock in the Jackson Dart wagon, so I would like to see them get through this quote terrible hard stretch before they throw him in. I believe they had their first 5 games are against about 500 teams with horrific to play against defenses. I think the Chargers are next. So it doesn't get easier for them. So I don't know. That offensive line's not the greatest, so I don't know if I want to throw in Dart against the Chargers this early. But hey, this is why I run and talk with you and let the coaches and professionals do their jobs.
No, absolutely. And I'm pulling up the Giants schedule now because I did hear that it was insane the first 6 to 8 weeks. Chargers, and then you get the Saints. That might not be a bad spot there. Then you get the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners, Bears, Packers.
Yeah, man.
Lions.
Like, that's
like, do they play easy? Oh, then you get the Patriots, Commanders, Viking. Like, they don't play very many bad defenses.
And
they already played the Cowboys once, right?
Yes.
No, they played the
yeah. They played them
last week. So they already played the worst defense in the league. So, in my opinion, obviously, I don't know if that's statistically accurate or not. It's pretty close.
It has to be close.
Yeah, they're pretty awful. But yeah, if Russ looks bad against the Chargers, which I believe he's going to, because the Chargers look legit. They look like one of the top 3 teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Maybe the best. The Saints might be an interesting spot. But then, I mean, you got the Eagles, Broncos. Eagles might not be so great to see him against either. So we'll see.
That's what I'm saying. It's not an easy. I mean, that Saints one's is attractive, but it's tough sledding, man. It's so. I mean, you got to start him. You can't hold his hand the whole time. If you're gonna start him, let's not throw him into a game. In my opinion, if you're going to start him, let's make a decision on a Monday or Tuesday that you're going to start him and give him a week worth of first-team reps, first-team planning, first-team meetings, and everything like that, and properly introduce him to a starting role. Is how I hope they handle it.
No, absolutely. And I have some stock in him, too. So sooner the better would be great. Thanks. Some people I don't have a stock in, however, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this one or not. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson might be in trouble. I know it's only 3 weeks in. Jamar Chase, when Burrow went out, was okay with Browning, but he was not the Jamar Chase we're used to seeing. And Justin Jefferson, we thought was quarterback proof, and then we saw J.J. McCarthy. In last week, we can't really tell because Carson Wentz barely had to throw the ball because the defense was so good that they I mean, what do you throw? 20 times, I think, to complete?
Yeah, roughly.
14 or something like that. So, obviously, Jefferson wasn't going to get a whole bunch of points this past week, but he hasn't gotten it with JJ yet either. So, a little bit worried about these two. Obviously, with CD going out, that's the top 3, in my opinion. Neighbors got shut down last night. It was like I think they said this on the pod or on the Sunday night game, that everyone's going to start realizing if you stop Neighbors, they have nothing, like, at all. And we'll talk about one person they may have, but it's just an electricity. It's not necessarily a stud. But if you stop Neighbors, I don't know what the Giants can do on offense. And we saw that come to fruition last night, in my opinion. So what I mean by this is those first round picks, BTJ hasn't done much. I talked about that before.
Right.
So these number 1 picks outside of Puka, Nico played well last week. We'll talk about him probably later on. Or real quick, I know he was top 10 this past week, so had a nice week there. But these number 1 picks, and wide receiver wise at least, are not living up to what we thought yet. And I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of them, which is kind of worrying me a little bit. So this wide receiver roulette might continue, as I said last week. So that was a big takeaway for me for this past week as well. So anything else takeaways?
No.
Getting into our standouts.
No, I think you nailed it. I'm a big Jamar fan. I want to give it at least one more week before I consider him a panic, only because of what he was able to do with Browning last season and what he did with Browning just last week. Not the Vikings last week, but the week prior. He had like 16 targets, and I think like 11 of those were post-Burrow out. So, I mean, I want to see a little bit more of what he can do with that because maybe it's just being biased about it, but yeah, I do want to. My guard is up on my Jamar stocks, 100%. He's not one of my standouts. Let's put it that way.
No, he can't be this week. That's for sure.
Nah.
I
Why
am
don't you lead
amazed.
the way here, sir? Why don't you lead the way and hear some standouts?
Yeah, so I'm going to lead the way on someone we pretty much already talked about. However, he was the quarterback one, so we need to talk about him. Caleb Williams. Like I said, I do believe that it's from the Cowboys' terrible defense. However, he did go 19 to 28, 298 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think you said this already. 5 carries for 12 yards as well. And if he can back this up again, I know he's been in the top 10 twice, but he had that really bad week in the middle against the Detroit Lions last week. So if he can back this up again, there's going to be a lot of people changing their tune, or pessimistic people like me changing their tune. I know a lot of people have a lot of stock in him and think the world of him. So we'll see. We'll see.
I was going to ask, what's it going to take for you to change your tune?
A legitimate game against the above average defense.
You're not looking for necessarily consistency. So if I said,
I am looking for consistency, but you have to be able to play against a good defense for that to be consistent, especially in the division that you're in. Because
so if he rattled off
seven defenses in the NFL.
So if he rattles off, say, 3 wins like this in a row.
I mean, I don't know who they're playing next, but yeah, if it's consistently top 10 or top 12 even, it's not the 9, 20, 1 where I think it might be like 22 next week or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if there's more consistency and then it actually happens against good competition, absolutely. I'll change my tune. But I've never been really a Caleb Williams fan. I think he was a
No, you haven't, which is fair.
So that was just my personal opinion on him.
Fair enough. Fire away.
Because I put a lot of stock in him for when him and Addison went to USC together and they lost to Utah twice. So I saw that they weren't, for all the hype, I expected them to be able to at least be in the playoff. And he wasn't able to make that happen. Now, I know the defense was really bad then, blah, 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 blah. But that's when I started to see, like, yeah, you're saying he's like Mahomes, but there's not many people who can play like Mahomes off schedule like he can and in the NFL and succeed. So I just haven't seen it consistently. And if you can see it consistently and he looks like that consistently, then we'll change our tune.
I like it.
Someone who I'm probably not going to change my tune of, however, is Tyrod Taylor. Quarterback 8 on the week. He was replacing, obviously, a concussion injured Justin Fields. I love it when backups get a chance to shine, and we saw a few of them this week. It was awesome to see. We'll talk about another one here in just a second. But Tyrod Taylor, excuse me, for Baker Mayfield there. 26 to 36, 197 yards, and 2 touchdowns to throw an interception. Also 8 carries for 48 yards on the ground, so he was able to do what Justin Fields did on the ground as well, which was nice to see. Less than 200 yards passing, however. The 2 touchdowns, it was good enough for quarterback 8. I think there was a little bit light on quarterbacks this week. Probably helps that Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson aren't on this list.
Yeah, good call. That's exactly why.
Aren't on this yet either. So he might end up being quarterback 10, but he's still top 10. But yeah, I love it when Tyrod comes in because all he does is he performs. It's just, it's not a consistency all the time. And you see how if he gets a couple starts in a row, you see that there's no dynamic, if that makes sense, or like game changing. For lack of a better word, like he was supposed to be the starter for Herbert's rookie year, ends up getting hurt, and Herbert takes the job and runs with it, right? It seems like that always happens to Taylor. So it's nice whenever he gets in the game and you can see what he actually can do. So
always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right?
Yeah.
No, just I'm glad you called out Tyrod Taylor's rushing ability as well. It's something that Justin Fields brings to the table. And when you have a quarterback that rushes, the majority of the time, your backup doesn't. So it's a complete game plan change that you would have to do in order to have that operate. So good call out there.
Yeah, I've started to see that, actually. I think the Ravens started doing that whenever they had
Snoop
Huntley.
Yeah, Snoop.
As the backup to Lamar Jackson, so they didn't have to change too much in their game plan. So that's a good call out there. But you had another guy who was a champion backup.
Yeah, I think this is what his 17. He's now on Carson Wentz. I'm gonna throw it out there. His numbers for QB 12. So let's make it sure that make it clear that this is not for his statistical outperformance, but it's just an overall baller that Carson Wentz is. They came into the league with the first round pick, and had that massive injury. And he hasn't been the same since the injury. And like I said, this is now his 7th team, I believe he's been on. Minnesota, born and raised. So this was a cool little backstory, hometown boy type. Hey, lead my hometown team to a win here at home. So it was cool to see. I wanted to call out to that. He had definitely had the defensive. Definitely had Minnesota's defensive aspects helping him in this win, but he came in with 173 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. We're not playing since week 18 for the Chiefs when they was filling in for Patrick Mahomes. So props to Carson Wentz.
Yeah, absolutely. And before you move on, I just want to give props to Mariota real quick as well. I'm not going to talk too much about him, but he was a top 10 performer as well as a backup. So 3 of them in the top 12 there, which was pretty cool to see. Sorry about that.
No sorries. No, it's a good point because we mentioned about the injuries to the quarterback carousel that we could have at the beginning of the week last week at the pod. And so it's seeing this full circle come to fruition that not only these backup quarterbacks did get a chance to play, but were successful in hitting top 10 like numbers. It shows the depth that these teams have, and hey, maybe your season's not over if you lose your starting quarterback. Who knows?
Very good point.
Another one I wanted to shout out: Geno Smith coming in at QB3. The Geno Smith Trey Tucker show was one to be had this week. It seems as if there's always a combo of a wide receiver and quarterback in a certain week this season that has been just an absolute show. This week was the Trey Tucker and Geno Smith show. Geno Smith came in at 19 for 29 passing, 289 yards, 3 touchdowns. And he also had 2 rushes for 5 yards. But no, he bounced back. I like to see bounce backs, and he had a horrific game week 2 against the Chargers, and they were kind of rubbing his face in it. But he came back and had a baller day. And Geno Smith likes to throw it out, and Geno Smith likes to be the underdog. And when he came into Sunday as the underdog with the opportunity to throw it out to Trey Tucker, he did just that.
No, we said before there are quite a few weapons on this team, and we can see Geno Smith doing this. Not a lot, but it's not surprising to us. Let me put it that way. With Bowers and Gentry hasn't even shown up yet, and we're expecting that. So another weapon for him, always positive. So if you want to go ahead and start us off with the running backs.
Yeah, I'll run you out. Let's run into the running backs here. No pun intended. I wanted to start with my boy, my big fan favorite, Christian McCaffrey, coming in at running back 6. He had 17 attempts for 52 yards, and then he had 10 catches for 88 yards as well. Christian McCaffrey, your running back 6 for the week for the Niners, filling in for Kittle still being out. Jawan Johnson did not play, correct?
I think I'm not sure if he played or got hurt. I know he didn't have any points.
Nevertheless, the second half is where Christian McCaffrey stepped up and filled in for when they needed it the most. So I wanted to give a good shout out to my boy Christian McCaffrey as always. But I did want to give the most time to Quinshon Judkins, who came in at running back 8. I was pessimistically optimistic to play him only because of the opponent that he was playing against. They were playing against the nasty Packers, the big bad Packers and big bad Parsons. He showed up and stole the show. He came in with about 21 fantasy points for a running back 8. He had 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown, and he had 1 catch for 2 yards and a touchdown. So it's showing that he is versatile behind the backfield. more ways than one. He's not going to be known for his extreme passing game, but he is showing right here that he is a target in the red zone, which sign me up all day for that. If you're going to tell me that this is going to be a wrecking ball, that it's going to catch some balls as well in the red zone, as a 3 down back all-purpose threat, I think we're going to have a lot more weeks where he is in the top 10 running back fields.
Yeah, this is one of the guys you stole from me. This week, I was all ready to talk about Coach Sean. It just basically he has arrived, and I give you kudos because you put him on the flex radar, saying put him on your flex radar now because you're not going to be able to do it anymore, and it 100% came to fruition. So good call out by you.
Thank you, sir.
For me, this is a rookie week for running backs, in my opinion, and then the old head in CMC. I got 2 rookies. I actually switched it up a little bit for myself here. So first off, we have Omarion Hampton, running back 3. You're going to see him in the top 10 a lot more now that there is that injury to Najee Harris, in my opinion. 19 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown, 6 catches on 7 targets for 59 yards. 62% of snaps. I'm sure it was probably closer to 50-50, and then he got the rest of the way almost. I don't know how much Haskins actually got in the game there. But as soon as Najee went down, it was kind of like, okay, he has to do it now. Like, we're waiting for him to succeed, and he did. So it was nice to see. I think this is going to be a consistent thing moving forward, especially since there's no one else in the backfield. And the other one who I had to pivot from because he played so well last night was Cam Scatterbo. Again, injury in the game. I know they were splitting time, but I think Tracy was playing a little bit more. But when Scatterbo got the chance, he absolutely took over. 10 carries, 60 yards and a touchdown, 6 catches on 8 targets and 61 yards in the air. Bowling ball who can catch. Don't see that very often. We're kind of talking about that with Judkins as well.
Bowling ball I can catch. I like that.
I mean, it's true, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm glad you threw him on here, man. He's definitely fun to watch. I have been a big Tracy fan. I don't want to say I've been an anti-Scatterbo, but I've been pro Tracy. But he has been fun to watch. With my Tracy stocks and my Dart stocks, him and Jackson Dart have Scatterbo, that is pronouns pal. Scatterbo has really hit off at Dart, so seeing a little of that. But no, you mentioned what he does to that team, and he's just this firecracker. The touchdown celebration last night was about 15 different backflips and about 4 disco dances. It was crazy, and he didn't miss a beat. But I'm glad he's on this list here, and I couldn't agree more with what you were saying about Omarion Hampton being in the top. I think he was victim of the Greg Roman offense, where he is going to be 50-50 with whomever, but now that is now thrown into the fire because there's nobody that planned for Omarion Hampton to be 50-50 with a 3rd and 4th string running back. I don't necessarily see them bringing anybody in. If they do, it's a vet, maybe like a Gus Edwards. Why not? But other than that, I think this is Hampton's backfield, and it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, he's not splitting time with Hassan Haskins. I loved him in Michigan. I thought he was going to be good in Tennessee, but this guy is not going to split time with Hassan Haskins, who's now the number 2 on this team. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to see that 62% snap share probably jump up to 80.
That's what I was going to say. 80, 85. I like that number.
Because he does need a spell, I'm sure. But and Haskins will be able to do that. But it's not going to be a 50-50, 60-40 whatsoever anymore. So very excited. You were talking about last week how the rookies really haven't shown up too much yet, especially in the running game, except for JCM or Bill, however you want to say it. But there's 3 this week that made the top 10. So there you go.
Hey.
And Scatterbo was number 4 running back on the week. I forgot to mention that. So again, caveat: Derrick Henry did not play yet. Jahmyr Gibbs did not play yet. So could be 6, but moving on. Also, someone that we've been waiting to finally show up this year. Took 3 weeks, but A.J. Brown, wide receiver 3 on the week so far. 6
Talk about it.
What's that?
I said talk about it.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's time. Six catches on 10 targets, 109 yards, and a touchdown. We know this about A.J. Brown and the Eagles' wide receiving core as a whole. Because Devontae Smith had the same kind of game. He really, really good, just outside the top 10. You got to ride the waves with this team because they have Saquon Barkley and a really good offensive line. There are some games that they're just going to disappear because of the run game is going to take over. But, and this might be talking about Jalen Hurts too much, but Jalen Hurts and the offensive game plan always is around whatever the defense takes away, they're going to take the other thing. Okay, so if you're trying to take away the run game, Jalen Hurts is fine passing the ball to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Goddard in the middle. So, but if you take away that, then God help you with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts running ability as well. So you have to ride the waves is really what I'm saying here. You have to start A.J. Brown. He's a lock every week. I heard people starting to talk about where he might be a flex consideration or do you start him? Yes, you start him. He's one of the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL. No questions asked. You're going to have games like this. And if you don't start him on a game like this and you start him on the next week thinking it's going to continue, you're going to be very upset with yourself. So it's just kind of like hitting on 16. You always do it or you never do it. In this case, you do it. Moving on, Luther Burden, wide receiver 6 on the week. I think it was because of that one catch he had, that dime that Caleb threw, which was beautiful. 3 catches on 3 targets, 101 yards and a touchdown. Also had a 7-yard rush. He is so dynamic, but again, this is the boom bust option. He is the downfield presence. He is the for lack of a better word, scat back, even though he's a wide receiver, can run out of the backfield, going deep. He does the things that not normal receivers do, if that makes sense. So while Rome Odunze is going to be the St. Brown in the offense, he is going to be the Jameson Williams, is kind of what I see. And I don't know what that means for DJ Moore. I'm not sure about that, but I think Luther Bird is going to kind of continually pop the top on the defenses, and that's going to open up more targets for Colston, Loveland, for Rome, for hopefully DJ Moore gets involved as well. And this could be a really dynamic offense if Caleb can put it all together. So wanted to give him a shout out, though, because he's going to be a boom bust. He's going to be a Mike Williams. He's going to be a Gabe Davis kind of player, hopefully better than them. But kind of that boom bust opportunity is what I saw. So,
yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Tyquan Thornton. Came in a wide receiver 14. Speaking of boom bust options for Luther Burden, he is basically what you explained as Luther Burden, but for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Burden is for the Bears. He led the receivers yesterday. He caught 5 of 9 targets. He was close. He had a touchdown, but he was close to a second touchdown. But then it actually got called back, unfortunately. But I just wanted to give a shout out. I remember him when he was drafted by the Patriots back in the Belichick days, and he was drafted for his speedster abilities, and he got hurt, and he never really had an opportunity to flourish in New England. But Kansas City gobbled him up, and he seems to be that exact type of target, that downfield, extremely fast threat, and is working well into that offense so far, especially with the absences of what wide receivers they had missing. And we briefly also gave a shout out to him, but I wanted to give another one to Nico Collins. He went 8 for 11 targets for 104 yards and a touchdown. Collins was one of the bright spots for Houston's offense, especially now that, with the way Stroud is struggling and the running back situation and the running back room situation being as banged up as it is. Now sitting now, they're 0-3, and they have to have some type of highlights here. Even though that they're 0-3, I think Collins is still going to be a must start, and our performances like 8 out of 11 targets again will do that for you.
Yeah, and I forgot to write it down on our sheet, but he was wide receiver 5 on the week.
Thank you.
So, yeah, he had a heck of a day. If you don't have an offensive line, you can't play football on offense. That's why it would amaze me whenever they got rid of Larry Tunsil on the offseason. Their offensive line was bad enough, and they got rid of their best offensive lineman. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they can do. 0-3, it's rough, but hopefully, Nico, this is a start to what could be a catalyst for him, because it was rough the first couple weeks. You want to go on with the tight ends there?
Yeah, let's go. I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Chig Okonawano out of Tennessee. He led all the pass catchers on the day for Tennessee's entire team. He had 5 receptions out of 6 targets for 66 yards. They did end up losing that ball game, unfortunately, but he was again, he paced the Titans with targets, receptions, and yards, and he just continues to show as a good report with a rookie quarterback as you possibly can have. They have a Helm, but he hasn't had much of a threat, if anything, toward any type of target share. And Chig, again, is showing to be a fantastic security blanket to the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, before you go on, when you said whatever you said his last name was, all I thought about was Salute Your Shorts. Camp Onawana.
Conquo.
There it is.
What did I say?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah, works for me.
I'm gonna leave this in. Oh, it's funny. Go ahead with your other one. Sorry.
That's fine. And the next one is Hunter Henry. Unfortunately, it's tight end 1. And I say that as unfortunately because I played him in 2 leagues and lost both leagues because of his performance. The performance was 8 of 11 for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. He proves to be the red zone threat that he always is. And what more can be said about tight end 1?
Yeah, he was a stud. Again, they played the Steelers, so of course someone against the Steelers is going to be on our shout-outs list because the Steelers defense is overpaid and stinks right now. However,
that's on recorded here.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, they do. They've looked terrible. If it wasn't for the running backs forgetting how to hold the ball for the Patriots, they would have lost. But yeah, I mean, Hunter Henry, he's just steady. He's one of those boring players like we talked about all the time that you don't get excited to take in your draft, but he always ends up doing this once or twice or 3 times a year. It's not going to be consistent, but it's awesome when it happens. And it's nice to see 2 people that you typically don't see in the top 10 being in the top 10 in Chig and Hunter. So me, on the other hand, I went with 2 guys who you should see in the top 10 to 5, probably top 5 almost weekly. TJ Hawkinson, tight end 4 this week, 5 catches on 6 targets, 49 yards and a touchdown. This is his first TD since week 12 of 2023. Not 24, 2023.
That's crazy.
Right? How good this guy is, and he hasn't caught a touchdown pass. Now, he did miss like the first 7 or 8 weeks, something like that, last year. But he didn't catch a touchdown pass last year, and he didn't catch a touchdown pass down the stretch last year. 2 years. Yeah, right. It's insane. When I saw that, I was like, wow, I got to say that. We'll see if this continues because Jordan Addison comes back next week from his suspension. So we shall see if this continues, but it was nice to see him get in the end zone. He looked like he was pretty excited about it. So maybe not Cam Scatterbo excited, but he was pretty excited for it. So and then the other one is probably my favorite tight end in the NFL right now, Trey McBride, tight end 5. I don't like talking about him or Bowers. However, really no other tight ends, even though they might have been in the top 10, were very good. Outside of these few guys and Bowers. So 5 catches on 8 targets, 43 yards and a touchdown. He is one of 2 tight ends this year to be in the top 15 all 3 weeks. And no, it is not Brock Bowers. And no, it is not, no, it cannot be Sam Laporta. No, it is not George Kittle because he got hurt. He probably would be. It is Jawan Johnson. He was still in the top 15, even though he didn't make the top 10 this week. He was number 12 overall. But these 2 guys are the only ones in the tight end. So it's kind of, I was talking about a wide receiver carousel or roulette. It's kind of like a tight end roulette right now as well, which is pretty crazy to see, because usually you know who those top 5 guys are, and then after that it's chaos. But this year it's been chaos. So, yeah, that's all I got on those. Anything else? Anything else you want to talk about the standouts? Anything like that? Before we move on to our flex options.
No, let's run into our flex here, sir. I'm ready to talk flex.
Yeah. So it worked out so well for you last week, calling these guys out. So I'm gonna let you do the honors and go first on your number 5.
Number 5. Last time I can throw him in the flex here. I'm gonna kind of go the similar route here. Not because just because of repetition here. I'm going Jordan Mason. I'm wanted to give myself some flowers on this one. He finally had the opportunity. I've been calling it all year. He was going to get this opportunity. I never wish ill on anybody, but I unfortunately saw this coming, and he didn't disappoint. So I wanted to give Jordan Mason's going against the Steelers defense. They're going to be as long as they can find a way to avoid T.J. Watt, I think they're going to be okay, at least Jordan Mason aspect. And it's not Ramondre Stevenson fumbling the ball 16 times. So I'm going to be interested to see how they handle that one.
It does sound like Carson Wentz is going to be the starter next week and probably the next 2 weeks because it's overseas. So you're going to see Jordan Mason run the ball even more. So it should be interesting against a defense who has allowed a lot of rushing. Last week they kind of held on a little bit, but that was because people couldn't hold on to the ball. But yeah, I love Jordan Mason as your number 5. Number 5 for me, Trey Tucker. I think he's going to do it again because he plays the Bears defense. He's the clear wide receiver 2 at this point for the Raiders, and the deep option on the team, which Gino loves that deep pro as well. He has the most the Bears have the most receiving touchdowns allowed this year, in 8, and 4th most in 20 plus catches in 11. Deep option should be able to eat against this injured secondary for the Bears.
No, I love it. I love the ad right there of Trey Tucker. Great call in the Bears D. You got to play the opponent as well. And they just continue to give up yards in that secondary.
My number 4 is Teddy McMillan. I'm loving rookies this week. He's going up against the Patriots defense. He is so close to breaking out. It's sickening. Like, it seems like every week he gets a catch that gets returned for because of a flag or something happened. So he's super close to breaking out, and I think he does this week against a team who gives up the most 20-plus yard catches allowed, which is 14 in 3 weeks, and not many of them are against the Steelers. Just saying. 3rd most receiving yards allowed in 816 yards, so he should be able to eat pretty well. Him and the rest of this offense looked great last week or this past week in a 30-0 win. So against the Atlanta Falcons, who looked good the first 2 weeks, don't know what happened, but we should be able to see him. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to put him in here, so I wanted to make sure I got him in here before he blew up.
Oh, fair enough. I like the ad. I'm going to go similar concept here. And the only reason why I was able to add him is because everybody was so low on him the week before, is I'm going to add Courtland Sutton here. He kind of bounces back drastically from a 1-point game to near 22-point game in half PPR formats. He came in with a 118-yard receiving game of 6 for 8 targets. Sutton led the Broncos receiving in every category. The next closest was R.J. Harvey, I believe, and he had like 15 receiving yards. So Sutton had like, I think it was 77 or 78% target share of some of Nix's passing yards all together. So a big bounce back game. He reestablished himself as a top 5 receiver, and he's going to be my 4th flex.
I love it, and that was against the Chargers too, who might have one of the best defenses in the NFL. So that's something I look at whenever I look at stats as well as who do they play. And he played a really good defense, and he was still able to eat. 2nd on the week, wide receiver wise, by the way, wide receiver 2. So that was pretty cool. And Bengals defense. Do you know anyone on their team?
Yeah, I mean the defense. Let's put it this way: the defense is actually going to be the defense is probably better than their offense presently. The defense is stepping up to be a little bit better than what most people anticipated. It's a shame because the offense is so abysmal. But yeah, I don't think that their defense is a defense that I need to watch out for. It's put that way, and I'm confident in starting Sutton against them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that call. Go with 3 for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Ricky Pearsall was going to go crack. Ricky Pearsall's going to crack number 3 here for me. He had a fantastic day against Arizona last week. He went 11 targets for 117 yards, and he's going against the Jacksonville defense that seems to be a little bit shaky at best. When the 49ers offense right now is so banged up injury-wise from anybody that's not named Christian McCaffrey. We had Juwan Jennings is in and out of the lineup playing. I mean, when he is playing, he's not playing at 100%. There's really nobody healthy behind Christian McCaffrey in the running back game. Pearsall's and Kittle's hurt still. So Pearsall's been the lone main man, and I like him against the Jacksonville Jaguars next week.
I like the call. There's no one left. It's kind of like you got to be good because if you're not, the team's not. And they just lost Bosa, too, for quite a bit. So their defense just got hurt as well.
Yes. Bosa was a torn ACL. He's out for the year. That was announced about 2 hours ago. So
yeah,
that's a big loss.
I wasn't going to say anything about him because we're a fantasy show. However, that matters. Like them losing him on defense matters.
That's a big loss.
Huge loss. So Niners are building a hospital over there. I mean, they are. For me, number 3 is one of my favorite players of all time. Thank God he's not a Brown anymore. Nick Chubb against the Titans defense, who allow the second most rush yards with 437 yards and the most rushing touchdowns allowed at 6. And this dude, if he gets close to the end zone, he's fine in the end zone. So I believe he hits pay dirt this week and will be a good flex.
I love the call. My number 2 flex, I'm going to go with opportunity rather than opponent. I'm going to go, we talked about him here a few times already. I'm going to go with Trey Benson. James Conner, again, unfortunately out for the year. Trey Benson wheels up. It's a solid offensive line, and it's a team that loves to run the ball. If it's not James Conner running the ball, it's Kyler Murray running the ball or running for his life. So, nevertheless, they like to run the ball in general. So, I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities. They are going against the Seattle defense that is in the top 3 in the league. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays against. But I'm still going to be starting him with confidence based off of volume alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. He's now the starter. And there's really no one behind him. And Kyler Murray should be able to help him run even more because of the options that Kyler Murray has in the run game. He'll be able to help Trey Benson find some holes, I think, as well. I've also been a huge Trey Benson fan since he got drafted to the Arizona Cardinals, so I'm excited to finally see what he can do as the guy. Because I expected last year, like every other year, James Conner get injured. He didn't for the first time in his career, so we didn't get to see Trey Benson all that much. So this year we'll get to see him. I don't know how long he's going to be allowed to be on this list. Just forewarn on that one. That was the ones that we both had, and I was like, I'll give it to you.
Fair enough.
My number 2 is a darling of mine. I can't get away from him. Keon Coleman, Saints. He's playing the Saints this week. He's the most dangerous wide receiver for Josh Allen. You could argue if he's the best or not. I understand that. Khalil Shakir's been okay, but he's the most dangerous weapon that they have. And the Saints allow the second most receiving touchdowns allowed in 7. If a wide receiver is finding the end zone, I would put my money on it to be Keon Coleman over anybody else on the team, not named Dalton Kincaid. So I got Keon Coleman this week, and he's going to probably be on my list for a while until you tell me I'm not allowed.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm not going to tell anybody they can't crush on a player. My number 1, however, though, is going to be Trevion Henderson. Running back, New England Patriots. Again, I'm going more so opportunity than opponent. He's going against the Carolina Panthers defense, who are coming off a shutout. They shut out the Arizona Falcons. Listen to me. The Atlanta
Thinking
Falcons.
about the Cardinals too much.
Yeah, I know, right? Look at me. I'm still in the Cardinals thing. I'm with you in the Trey McBride. That's what it is. I think we get some Trey McBride love on this podcast. Maybe we can get him on. Maybe we'll call him up. We'll get him on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
No, but Trevion Henderson's going to be my flex number one. Again, and going based off of opportunity. We are coming into Ramondre Stevenson fumbling the ball twice in two critical moments. And we got Antonio Gibson fumbles the ball as well. And they also like to utilize him on the special teams. Henderson rushed for 28 yards and 11 carries in the loss against the Steelers. Not the greatest stat line last week, but this is a new week against a new opponent. And I like Trevion Henderson a lot this week.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen now, after what you've seen Ramondre doing, or what Ramondre's done in his past seasons, and then he fumbles the game away, basically, twice this past week. If Henderson isn't the number one by the end of this week, I don't know what variable the Patriots are doing. He's the most explosive player on their entire team. And again, I don't know how long he's going to be allowed to be on this list, but as long as they're playing Ramondre over him, I'm just going to laugh. So I absolutely – we all know how much I love Henderson, so I'm so happy you put him on this list. And I agree with you. I think the opportunity is coming. It should be very, very shortly. For me, the number one, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this guy's name. However, it's got to be one of the Packers because they're playing the Dallas Cowboys. Hey. So I picked who I actually had Dontayvion Wicks here. But I was like, you know what? Matthew Golden is probably the number one. So let's go with him. The Dallas Cowboys, surprisingly, most receiving yards allowed in 900 yards in 3 games. Second most receiving touchdowns allowed in 7. Second most 20-plus yard catches allowed in 13. They are absolutely terrible. Play all of the Packers. They might all feed. And there's like 80 of them. So everyone has to on their team. So just feast all over this Cowboys team. Now, after I said that, the Cowboys are going to show up probably, which will be hilarious. But
you were so Dallas defense today, man. It's might come back.
You play this bad on defense, like you should be called out. I don't care how many people listen to us, 4 or 5, whatever. But you need to be called out because you're absolutely a joke of a defense. And I thought this was going to be Cincinnati, and they've actually played okay. Yeah, Micah Parsons, really good idea. And Micah Parsons comes home, so God help Dak Prescott. How many sacks do you think Micah has? I'm just curious.
3.5.
Oh, wow, you're giving a high number, man. I was going to say 2 would be happy. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game next week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Matthew Golden, caveat, Dontayvion Wicks, whichever one you like better, play them.
I got 2 stocks of Golden. I'm all in the Golden aspect. Let's go.
Yeah, so I honestly couldn't decide which Packer, but it had to be a Packer at number 1 because this defense is garbage. So play everybody you can. That is a Packer this week. Real quick, we're going to do a little bit of trade database. We took a little bit longer than usual this week on the week that was and the week that's going to be. So let me pull up what I was trying to find. All right, so we're going to get started with our top traded players here, 3 of them. First one I see here is actually has both of the guys we're going to talk about, which is kind of interesting. 2 out of 3 of the guys we're going to talk about. So Brian Thomas for A.J. Brown and a 26th third. 2 quarterback, 12 team, start 10, full PPR. So what side you got on this one?
I'm going Brian Thomas. I'm going while the iron is cold. I still believe in the talent. I still believe in the system. I think it's eventually going to take off. Brian Thomas is just too much of a talent. So I'm taking Brian Thomas side. Yourself?
I believe I would be probably taking the A.J. Brown 26th third because you get a little extra, and I think they're very similar. So I'll take I know the age difference is drastic, but right now I think they're very similar, plus you get the extra pick. So I like that.
I can't disagree with that presently. I can't. So good call out.
Thanks. AJ Brown for a 27 third and a 27 first. Two quarterback, 12 team, start 10, full PPR. Same.
I'm gonna let you go first in this one.
Oh, all right, no problem. I smashed the 27 first. If there's 27 first, it's going to be hard for me not to smash that. And then you get a third as well. I think the 27 class is going to be insane, especially the first round. So very excited for that. AJ Brown's 28, 29. So he's getting the end of his run here. And I'm more along the lines of like, okay, who's that new guy versus the boom bust that is AJ Brown in the Philly offense.
Okay, cool. I agree with you here on this one, but I was afraid to talk ill of AJ Brown against you. I know he's your boy. But no, I agree with you. I'm taking that first in this one, and to be honest with you, if I had to name 10 teams of wide receivers I would want, Eagles are not one of them. So I don't like that system accordingly for a fantasy wide receiver. I think it's a very fantasy friendly for rushing, and rushing only. So yeah, I'm taking that first side.
I love it. I have two that we're going to talk about at the same time because they're very interesting. So AJ Brown for Chase Brown or AJ Brown for Hollywood Brown? Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is crazy to me.
Brown Bowl.
I think people just wanted to trade Browns.
Yeah, I think I think that's what that is. So why don't I run with this one as a keep trade cut? I'm gonna go keep Chase Brown, trade AJ Brown, cut Hollywood Brown. Is how I'll do this. So I'm taking AJ Brown over Hollywood Brown in that trade, and then I'm taking Chase Brown over AJ Brown in that trade. I think I'm going to strike when Chase Brown's iron is cold here. He did not come off at the start that I was anticipating, nor any other fantasy manager. But I think it's just the obvious weaknesses of the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line that are no secret. And then obviously losing Joe Burrow, it's becoming very easy to defensive scheme against the Cincinnati Bengals until they can figure out what's going on with Browning. So I'm going to take my Chase Brown stocks while I can in the dynasty format.
I'm probably going AJ Brown on both of those.
Okay.
Pretty simple for me. When he's good, he's the best. He's one of the best. And I'll take that over. I do like the running back, however, or in Chase Brown. However, I am worried that now with Browning as the quarterback, he is going to suffer a little bit. That does worry me a lot. So, next we're going to talk about Brian Thomas briefly here. We'll start with this one because this drives me nuts. Brian Thomas for Marvin Harrison. I think this is hilarious. I'll go first.
Please.
I smashed Marvin Harrison in this. I've talked about it multiple weeks, how I think Brian Thomas is falling a little bit. And I think Marvin Harrison is just starting. So, and if not, then they're going to find a new quarterback to be able to get it done with Marvin Harrison. You don't take a guy number 4 overall to not get him the ball. So I don't
think I'm smashing, but I'm taking the Brian Thomas side. I at least seen what Brian Thomas can do last year. I haven't seen anything from Marv Harrison. And I believe if his name wasn't Marv Harrison Jr., the fantasy community would feel differently about him statistically, about him opportunity-wise, and about everything in between. I think I'm nowhere near saying that he's a bust. I think he is definitely one of the best talents in that draft class. I think he's deserving of that 4 spot. But right now I'm taking Brian Thomas because I know what the car can do. It's just a matter of getting the car to work properly.
I can understand that. I get where it's kind of even either way you look at it.
I think, and I'm not surprised that we have split this because it is fairly even. I don't think it's, I don't think it's a runaway with one side or the other. And I think you and I both made that clear. I think this is a good trade.
However, we're not even going to talk about this one really because it's just ridiculous. However, Brian Thomas, CeeDee Lamb, Chuba Hubbard, 27 second for James Cook, Jaden Higgins, and Jackson Dart. Someone loves Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that is a horrible trade.
That's a terrible trade. So I like to just
I love Jackson Dart, and I'm taking the other side 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to find one more here, but none of these are really. Here you go. Brian Thomas, a third and a first. A 26 third and a 27 first for Jaden Daniels.
Ooh, that is a good one.
That is a good one.
What's the league specs?
Two quarterback, 10 team, start 9, full PPR. Oh, start 9. That's not many.
That's not many at all, man. That's what my champ league is a start 9.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 quarterback and it's a start 9.
Yep. But quarterbacks mean a whole lot in this league.
I think I'm taking Jalen Daniels, man.
Yeah, until I saw it was start 9, I was going to take the Thomas in the first because I absolutely want all the first I can get in the 27, as we've talked about before.
I'm taking Jaden Daniels, I think.
Yeah, you don't play around with Jaden Daniels.
No, start that league specs. Like if it was a standard or basic boring formats, then yeah, I think I'm taking the Brian Thomas side. But a start 9, 2 quarterback.
Yep.
For 22% of your roster's quarterback points.
Yeah, that's insane, right?
I want
massive
Jalen
quarterback there.
I want Jalen Daniels, yeah.
Yeah, I would take Jane Daniels. I think any specs, but that one makes it pretty easy. And then the last one, Brian Thomas, Ashton Genty, straight up, 2 quarterback, 12 team, start 11, full PPR.
I'm going Brian Thomas. This is my pet peeve of the dynasty format. I know that there's other guys that there's the running backs that stand out and there's ones that don't, but I'm going with shelf life. That's my deterring factor. I think this is a very even trade. I think this is very statistically you're going to get it, but I'm going with shelf life, and statistically wide receivers give me a couple more years of juice.
I can't disagree with you. However, I would probably go with Genty if I was somewhat close, because what you're seeing now is not what you're
Okay, I like that. I like that asterisk. If I'm somewhat close, I'm taking Genty because of the running back abilities. But if I'm looking for, I like that because that does water down my deterrent or my separator of it being a shelf life. That does water it down some if I'm in a more of a win now mode.
Yeah. And then the last one we're going to talk about briefly is JCM, Big Bill, Ja'Cory Crossky-Merritt. First one I see here, JCM, a 27 first and a 26 first for Bucky Irving. 2 quarterback, 12 teams, start 9, half PPR.
Some of these JCM trades are going to be out of control because the hype is insane right now. And then Eckler had to go get hurt for the year. So that
it was already crazy, and then Eckler gets hurt.
It made the hype even 10 times worse.
Yep.
Can you say that one again?
JCM and a 27 and 26 first. Both firsts. For Bucky.
Yeah, I'm doing the firsts.
Yeah, I smashed the first. Bucky Irving is a stud, and I think he's going to be good for quite a while. But we don't know what Bill is yet. He could be good for a while as well. And even if he's not, I still have the 2 firsts to back up. 26 first, I'm not very excited about, especially after seeing the quarterbacks these first 3-4 weeks of the college season. However, 27 first, I'm ecstatic for. So I'll take the first, even though I do love Bucky a lot. There you go. JCM for Chris Olave, straight up. 2 quarterback, 12 team, start 11, full PPR.
That's a good one.
That's a great one, isn't it?
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, man.
They can't even say longevity because Olave is not one known for longevity here.
He hasn't been healthy yet.
No.
Year.
No, he's damaged goods. I think I'm taking JCM due to the pending quarterback carousel in New Orleans. Just the overall New Orleans offense. I'll SAT question this. Dallas Cowboys are to defense as New Orleans Saints are to offense, in my opinion.
Spencer Rattler was a top 10 quarterback last week. Yes, I agree with you.
Thank
you. But I would probably still take the Olave side because it is dynasty. Eventually, he will stay healthy, and he is very good. Bill, we have no idea how long he lasts. One more I'm trying to find. These are all from today, by the way. So it's not even like different days or whatever. So Cam Scatterbill, first and a second in 2026 for Bill and Lad McConkey.
Oh, I'm taking Bill and Lad McConkey.
Yeah, 27, I would think about it. But since it's 26, I'd take Bill and Lad McConkey as well.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bill and Lad McConkey side.
Change those to 27, and it's an exact opposite for me. That's how different I feel about the two classes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was really excited about the quarterback class in 26 and first-round picks. They should have been like 4 or 5 of them. However, they have looked absolutely horrible. So all the ones who are supposed to be the top dogs. So we'll see what happens. But right now, 26 first don't mean a whole lot outside of Love and maybe a couple other players. So, yeah, so we wanted to just talk about some trades early on in the season. We're going to do this again, and hopefully I'll be a little bit more prepared and for this one. But you can see how, hey, try, because sometimes people are crazy. That's the way I look at it. Anything else you wanted to say on that?
No, man. I think you nailed it.
Alrighty. So obviously it's a little bit longer of a show. We were long-winded with the first part here. I was sorry. So for Jeremy, I'm Mickey. This has been Dynasty of the Mountaintops. Make sure you check us out on Podbean, YouTube, Apple, as well as our socials, Blue Sky and X, dynastymttops. That's at dynastymttops. And then email us at dynastymttops@gmail.com for any comments, concerns, questions, not really concerns, questions, any show ideas that you have. You can send us concerns. We don't really care, though.
I got concerns if you got concerns of a fantasy podcast.
There you go. I like it. And next week, we will be talking about the quarter pool reaction. So, quarter of the way through your regular season, pretty much after
Gross.
week, which is insane.
Gross. Gross.
I know, right? So we'll talk about some of those reactions, big things that are going on in the first 4 weeks of the season. So should be a fun show. We'll also talk about, obviously, flex options for week 5 and the standouts, injuries, and takeaways from week 4 that was. Don't forget to set your lineup up early on Sunday because Steelers-Vikings are at 9.
Great call out. Great call
out. We start these Europe games for the year. So, again, for Jeremy, I'm Mickey. This has been Dynasty at the Mountaintops. Have a great week.
Thanks a lot, guys.